Family, what's going on? Is yours truly, Dr. Eddie. How you doing? How you living? How's it going? What's happening? I hope you're doing well. You know what it is. You know who it is. And of course, we are back again for In the Mix at 6. I hope you're having an amazing day in an amazing way. Come on, drop some emojis, fire emojis in the chat. Drop some fire emojis in the comment section. If you're happy and you know it, clap your emoji hands. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's grow. If you're ready, type let's mix it up. Yeah, let's mix it up. Family, today's topic is you under arrest. Of course, we're in the continuation of our amazing series. Have you been getting something from the series? I'm serious about the series. Yeah, have you been getting something from the series? You under arrest part 7. And today we are focusing on this particular subtopic. I rest my case. I rest my case. Listen, the title speaks for itself. The title is preaching itself. Sometimes you got to get to a place in your life to say, you know what? I ain't going back and forth with you. I rest my case. I'm not gonna go negative in the text thread with you. I'm gonna delete my 4-page letter. Yeah, delete. I'm not gonna even send okay. I'm gonna let my silence speak volumes. I rest my case. You chose violence today, didn't you? Yeah, silence is gonna be the violence. I rest my case. Mhm. Yeah, I'm through dealing with all these issues, externally, internally. Getting ready to rest my own case on this. Last time we were talking about Jesus asking a father of a demoniac, demon-possessed son a question. He was asking the father, he said, son's, topsy-turvy in the water, in the fire. He said he's being thrown here, there, and he's being attacked. How long has it been going on? Jesus looks at the father. Well, the father looks at Jesus and says, since he was a child. And a lot of times we've been dealing with issues and wounds and trials and tribulations ever since we were a child. It is Dr. Sigmund Freud who said, we are in adulthood what we have experienced in childhood. It is Dr. Joy DeGroy in her book, The Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, who said that we carry in our DNA the anguish, the animosity, the trials, and the triggers of our ancestors. And here it is. We're not absolved from growth. We have to engage in the fierce urgency of now. Why? Because if we don't arrest what is arresting us, if we don't apprehend it, as Paul said, the Apostle Paul, it'll apprehend us. We have to arrest what arrests us, or that which is arresting your mind, taking you to the edge of your mind. That in many cases, what you wrestle with. Wrestling with your calling, wrestling with mental fatigue, wrestling with mother wounds and father wounds, wrestling with the trials and tribulations and the triggers and the trauma of life, wrestling with the heartbreak, wrestling with your next move. I got to arrest it. I got to arrest what has arrested me. Why? Because arrested development means it's brought you into a particular place to where you've plateaued. There's been no growth. There's been no exponential increase. You are today where you were yesterday. You are today where you were last year. You are today where you were 10 years ago. You are today where you were when you were 15 and when you were 8, when you were 10. Aren't you tired of staying where you were? Listen, God didn't bring you this far to only bring you this far. Come on, family, type grow. Type grow. We're in this thing. We're in this thing. I rest my case. I don't want to have to keep telling you. Come on, family. Hit the thumbs up button. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. That's right. It's an explosion of inspiration. Fireworks don't just mean 4th of July. It's your Independence Day right now. You getting, come on, it's time to be free from some stuff. Time to be free from all that mental fatigue. You can't be free for until you're free from. How long has it been going on? Since he was a child. But here's the thing, what I love about it. Ever since he was a child, notice this, he's been getting attacked ever since he was a child, but he's not dead. As long as you got a pulse, you got a purpose. If you're not dead, God ain't done. The reason he didn't die is because there was a buffer. God was still protecting him in the midst of what was afflicting him. Listen, you may be dealing with some trauma. You may be dealing with some triggers. You may have been dealing with some wounds. God's using those wounds as wisdom. You've been getting attacked. You've been getting afflicted ever since you were a child. But here's the thing. God protected you in the midst of what was stressing you. Enemy tried to take you out, but he couldn't take you out. Why? Because God was a shield. God was a buffer in the midst of what you went through that caused you to suffer. Come on, it's been happening ever since you were a child, but you're an adult now. Somebody had to be preserving you. Somebody had to be protecting you. Somebody had to be holding you. Somebody had to be shaping you. Somebody had to be shifting you. Somebody had to be delivering you ever since you were a child. Tragedy is to be a grown man with a boy's mentality. Tragedy is to be a grown woman with a girl's mentality. And here's the thing that happens when we are stuck in arrested development. As I told you last time, there's some things there's some things that we should have left in our childhood that we brought into our adulthood. There are also some things we leave in childhood that we should have brought into adulthood, such as our imagination, such as thinking big, such as you felt like you could do anything when you were a kid. Now you don't feel like you can do anything at all as an adult. Something's wrong with that. Pablo Picasso says this: every child is born a genius. The hard part is to remain a genius as you grow older. Why? Because there's so many things in life that want to arrest your genius. Do you hear me? There's so many things in life that want to corral your creativity. There's so many things in life that want you to be a midget when you were created to think big. That want to diminish you and make you small when you were created to be big, when you were created to be a giant. You had big dreams. Now all you dream are nightmares. Something's wrong with that. Some things we leave in childhood that we should have brought into adulthood, such as our imagination, such as our determination, such as our creativity, such as our inspiration, such as the fact that we were being a trendsetter, such as the fact that we weren't trying to fit in, we were standing out, such as the conviction, such as the fact that here it is, the poorest person is not the one without a dime, it's the one without a dream. Then, on the other hand, there are some things we brought into our adulthood that we should have left in our childhood. What am I talking about? The trauma, the lack of trust, the suspicion, the bad habits, the wounds, the aspect to be a people pleaser, allowing people to paint their opinions on the canvas of our minds with intention. Told you last time. There's some questions that we got to ask of ourselves. Then there's also got to be some questions that we ask about people who want to be in our lives. Such as the aspect, did I experience any mistreatment? Did they experience any mistreatment during their childhood? And here's the thing. A lot of times when we're asking people these questions, much less if they're asking us these questions, we got to make sure that we're around people who won't judge us because of what we have experienced. Yeah. We got to make sure that we're in a safe space and place where people can embrace our humanity. Come on. Just because it happened to you doesn't mean that is you. I rest my case. Just because you experienced that doesn't mean that has to be the lot for your life. I rest my case. Just because they mishandled you and didn't see the value in you doesn't mean you have to devalue yourself. It doesn't mean I'm going to not see the value in you. I rest my case on that too. Hear me. What you've been through doesn't define you. It refines you. Yeah, I rest my case. I don't get worse. I get better. The wounds become wisdom. The most courageous thing you can do is to value yourself when other folks have discounted you. Hear me. The people who counted you out can't count. The folks who counted you out can't count. Family, just type don't discount me. And while you're typing don't discount me, I don't want you to discount yourself. God called you, and when he called you, it wasn't a conference call. God called you, and when he called you, it wasn't a board meeting. God called you, and when he called you, he said, I have an assignment for you. I rest my case. I knew what you were going to have to go through. I knew how people were going to try to destroy you. I knew how people were going to try to destroy you, but I was developing you. I knew how they were going to leave you for dead. I knew how they were going to throw you away. I knew how they were going to give up on you. But here's what I've done. I still called you, and I affirmed you. It doesn't matter if people neglect you or abandon you. I rest my case when it comes to you. Why? Because you're a solution to a problem. Why? Because 10 years from now, somebody's going to need the testimony that you have, and you're going to be able to share how you persevere through that storm and how, in many cases, when people didn't think much of you, you thought enough of yourself to continue to push yourself, to continue to love yourself, to continue to grow through what you went through, to not allow arrested development to arrest you. But here's what you decided to do. You decided to go to counseling. You decided to go to therapy. You decided to arrest what was arresting you. And here it is. You can rest your case when you rest in God. What does that mean? When you allow when you allow him to rejuvenate, empower, strengthen, and transform your life. Yeah, I rest my case simply because I've rested in him. And when I rest in him, I'm restored. Listen, if you haven't checked out my session on this YouTube station called I'm Tired of Being Tired, you need to go and check that out. Talking about real rest, real restoration, real rejuvenation, real revelation. And sometimes it happens through isolation. I rest my case because I got a verdict. The verdict is value. The verdict is volition. The verdict is victory. The verdict is, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm not going to fear no evil. Why? Because he's with me. When I'm asking people about the violence that they may have witnessed, the traumatic events that they may have experienced, the instability that they may have experienced in a chaotic environment in their household, are you well equipped to handle their humanity? Are you well equipped to handle my humanity? Oh, yeah. Don't ask questions if you want to make prejudgments, post judgments, and assertions. My battle may not be your battle, but here's the thing, I shouldn't look down on your battle because you had a battle. What I should do is be looking up, thanking God that you made it through the battle that you experienced. Why? Because the battle's not yours, the battle's the Lord's. Do they have emotional intelligence with empathy? Do they have relational intelligence? To be able to embrace you with grace? How many negative childhood wounds are showing up in your adulthood because you never healed? And now you bleed on people who didn't cut you. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to the person where you allowed arrested development to freeze you. I want to talk to the person where you allowed arrested development to isolate you. I want to talk to the person where you allowed arrested development to keep you 17 when you're well past that age, but you're still in that same stage. Hear me? I know what your age is, but your stage is something totally different. Age is about physical maturation, but stage is about emotional and mental maturity, spiritual maturity. Where, what stage are you at in life? Some of us are adults still in the childhood stage. Some of us are adults still in the adolescent stage. You never grew out of clubbing. Come on now. You a grandmother or grandfather, you still trying to turn the club up? Arrested development can't never be serious. You're gonna always keep bleeding on people who didn't cut you. You're gonna always be insecure. You're gonna always blame shift and never take accountability. You mean to tell me you're gonna always project anger? You're gonna always hide in shame? You mean to tell me you're gonna always social distance from accountability? Is that what you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me you're gonna always be suspicious of other people? And because you're so suspicious of other people, you mean to tell me you're gonna always be antisocial? Yeah, you're gonna resist. And so guess what? That which you resist is going to continue to persist. You mean you're never gonna get better? You mean you're never gonna grow through what it is that you go through? You got to get to the place to where here it is. This is what happened in my life. But just because it happened in my life doesn't mean it will be the lot of my life. It happened, but there's a lesson. It happened, but there's a blessing. I'm going to grow through what I go through. I'm going to grow through what I've gone through. I refuse to stay stuck and stagnant in arrested development. Why? Because when I stay stagnant and stuck in arrested development, it affects my children. When I stay stagnant and stuck in arrested development, it affects my relationships. When I stay stagnant and stuck in arrested development, it affects the marriage. When I stay stagnant and stuck in arrested development, it affects my job and my business and my communication and my life and my finances. It was just a journey, but it's not my destination. I'm at a fork in the road right here. I'm going to either veer off the path where I shouldn't be, or I'm going to go to where I need to be. And that's through the process of healing. That's through the process of development. That's through the process of living through dying places. Hear me, you got to get to the place to where you get to the place of this. You got to get your mind to a specific place to where you say, listen, this happened, but I'm going to heal. I rest my case. Yep. I'm looking at all the evidence right here of why my life shouldn't work. I'm looking at all the evidence of why I shouldn't be where I am right now. I'm looking at all the evidence of the reason why I should throw in the towel, why I should give up. But I'm going to keep looking up. Why? Because God has the final say. Come what may, God has the final say. And I rest my case. Rest my case on the trauma. I'm not going to keep living through that. I'm not going to keep allowing that to live through me. I rest my case. And I'm going to embrace grace. Did you hear me? Come on, family. Type embrace grace. Yeah, too many of us, too many of you who I'm talking to are too hard on yourself. You're your worst critic and you criticize yourself at your worst. I'm going to rest my case and embrace grace. And here it is. Even if I'm the only person who can embrace myself with grace, I'm going to embrace me. Yep. Flaws and all, wounds and scars and trials and trauma of what I've lived through. If I can't find a safe space, I'm going to be one for myself. Do you hear me? I'm going to love me through what I've went through. Why? Because God loves me, and I ought to love me because he loves me when I was at my most unlovable. When people didn't love me, they left me. But here's what I love about it. Love lifted me. That's the love lifted me says I rest my case. Love lifted me. So guess what? I can rise out of this situation like a phoenix out of the ashes. Why? Because he's giving you gladness for mourning. He's giving you, here it is, beauty for ashes. I rest my case. Here it is. You need to be in an environment of grace, an environment that expresses love, an environment that lifts you, an environment that leads you to a greater place and space in your life, an environment that understands this, that a win for you is a win for me too, an environment that empowers you to soar on wings as an eagle, an environment that reminds you of who it is that you are, an environment that affirms you. Come on over here to the Eagles Academy. Come over here to more than just an academy, a community, a family. I guarantee you, if you spread your wings, you'll win. Over and over and over again. Come on, join us in our Eagles community. I want you to go to theeaglesacademy.com, tap the join now button, fill out the form. I guarantee you're going to be transformed. Come on, join us. Let's maximize your mindset. Let's sharpen your skill set. Let's build your tool set. Let's show you how to be an asset in any environment with more than just information, but implementation. It's time to soar. You were called to go to higher heights. You were called to create. You were called to be a trailblazer. You were called to be a trendsetter, not just a follower. You were called to be a creator, not just a consumer. You were called to be a producer. Family type eagle. Family type soar. Time to soar into more. It's time to soar into greater for what you've been believing for. Yeah, I want you to join us now. Go to theeaglesacademy.com, tap the join now button, fill out the form, be transformed. I've got a number of different resources that I know will strengthen you in your content, your communication, your cash flow, your creativity, your ingenuity, your imagination, your purpose, your gifts, your calling, your relationships, your business. Got so many different resources. I want you to go to theeaglesacademy.com/store. The revolution not only be televised, it'll be digitized. Go to theeaglesacademy.com/store. Let me show you how to increase your ideas, your impact, and your influence. We all want to increase our income. Here it is. Interesting. Don't matter how much money you have, you always want to have more. It's interesting how that works. But guess what? A byproduct of increasing your income is by increasing your ideas, your impact, and your influence. Increasing those areas, ideas, impact, and influence, I guarantee you're going to increase your income. Why? Because increasing ideas, impact, and influence is implementation. For income continuation, not stagnation. My resources, digital courses especially, bestseller book blueprint for those of you who want to birth your book. You already have books, you want to sell more of them, download that. I've written 16 books. Can we display them, please? I know a thing or 16 about writing books. Another thing, you want to increase in your areas of speaking. After you write a book, people are going to ask you to talk about it. Whether you've written a book or not, you're going to have to communicate for the rest of your life. What words are you painting when you're speaking? You can get that as well. Bestseller book blueprint, accessidentity.org/author, successful speaker strategies. accessidentity.org/speaker. Both resources are also at theeaglesacademy.com/store. I'm giving you the tools to build. But here's the thing. You have to invest in yourself. You overcome arrested development by making an investment in who it is that you are. You don't just soar as high as your dream, you're going to soar as high as your team. I want you to go to theeaglesacademy.com/store because not only do I have those resources that I mentioned, I've got a free ebook called More in 2024, How to Become More and Make It Your Best Year Yet. This is still your year for more in 2024. But hear me, you don't get more until you become more. Got to become more in order to receive more. So I'm giving you the strategies to become more, how to become more and make it your best year yet. Then, as well, you want to get my free download digital video training called The Art of Communication. Whether you realize it or not, communication and compensation are interconnected. Whatever you're building, you can build it better if you use better words. Isn't that interesting? Words create your world, and that's the financial world as well. Hear me. You only get better with words when you actually read better words. I've got to absorb knowledge. I've got to listen to other people who are experts where I may be challenged at and how to grow in those specific areas, in those particular areas. I've got to be a sponge to absorb knowledge. The hardest thing for most people to do is to think. Hear me. We are in an age now of not just brawn, but brain. Of communicating with your, not just your head, but with your heart. New day and age speaks for new wisdom, needs new information, needs new implementation. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Doing what we did will not work for what we need to do. And here's what we're going to need. We're going to need new strategies, structure, solutions, and a system. What is a system? Saving yourself time, energy, and money. Wouldn't you like to do that? Yeah, I knew you would, as a matter of fact. I hope you've gotten something out of this. I don't know. Do we need a part 8? I don't know. Drop 8. Drop 8. I believe there's something great. I'm not ready to rest my case yet. I don't know. I don't think I'm ready to rest my case yet. Hope you've been getting something from the Arrested Development You're Under Arrest series. If you'd like to be a show sponsor, show sponsor opportunities, show sponsorship opportunities, email me, info@eddieconnor.com. Hit me up, let me know. We would love to have your product or service that is family friendly on the show. Info@eddieconnor.com. If you would like to send a love gift or a donation, you may do that via Cash App, $access identity, through PayPal, info@eddieconnor.com, and even through Zelle. EddieConnorJr at gmail.com. And as you're giving, I want you to name your seed. Yeah, I want you to name your seed. Right? If you're expecting breakthrough, I want you to give your seed and name it breakthrough. If you're expecting healing, name it that. Expecting growth, name it that. Name your seed. And I believe your seed will meet every need. Family, we're out of time. In the mix of 6 is out of time, but we're not out of truth. Hope you got something from today's show and it blessed you to soar into more. Like that great rapper once said, Tupac Shakur, there's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. And so I want you to know that you are appreciated, you are celebrated. I try to show you that each and every single time that I log on and lock in with you. So, of course, I want to thank you for rocking with me. I want to thank you for riding with me. I want to thank you for rolling with me. Why? Because that's just how we roll. That's it. And we do that on In the Mix at 6, each and every single weekday, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the digital airwaves of social media, but also on YouTube. While you're here and while you can jump over here, hit the thumbs up button, family. Come on, don't just think about hitting the thumbs up button. Actually hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. That helps my channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on all the social sites at EddieConnorJr. Come on, put some respect on my name at EddieConnorJr. Y'all keep showing love. I'm going to keep showing up. I'd love to come to your event. Yeah. What's your next event? Come on. What's your next event at your church, at your college, at your community center, in your school, graduation? Let me know. I'd love to come and empower you, speak life into your life, and life of those who will be attendees there as well. Let me know for sure. I would love to empower you. You see the information right there. Reach out to me, info@eddieconnor.com. Whether it's on your podcast, whether it's do an interview, whatever the case may be, whatever's clever. Let's make it happen. I know you will be blessed and empowered. Yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand. Of course, if I can help you, if I can serve you in any way, let me know. I'm your brother from another mother. Family, it's been fun, but a brother got to run. It's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you to remember to keep the faith and believe. It's going to be bigger, better, brighter. Peace and love. Keep soaring higher.
Hey, it's yours truly, Dr. Eddie. Listen, don't you want to level up in your life? Don't you want to actually dominate this year? You need strategy, you need structure, you need solutions. If you're going to level up in your relationships, you're going to identify your brand identity. If you're going to identify your identity, this is your year to become more. This is your year to do more. I'm telling you, this is the time to grow your greatness. You need to be in a secure environment, in a community that really cares about your growth, that wants to enhance it, that wants to push you in a place of not just information, but transformation for your application. I'm telling you, you don't just go as far as your dream. You go as far as your team. Join our team. Become a part of the Eagles Academy. Go right now. TheEaglesAcademy.com. When you get there, tap the join now button and become a member of this amazing academy with so many amazing people, locally and globally, who understand that their network determines their net worth. They want to soar into success and purpose. I can't wait to see your face in our digital space. Go right now. TheEaglesAcademy.com. Yeah.